Hi everyone, Brenda Hillard here at createwithbrenda.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and oh boy do I have stuff for you today. So I wanted to just jump on the day before this is actually available for purchase to show you what's in store. It's called the Butterfly Bouquet, and it has arrived. It's amazing, you guys. It's the beauty of nature with butterflies, and the sale for this starts, like I said, tomorrow, March 2nd, and it will go through the 3rd of May. So is what's available in this bundle or package, as I can say. I don't really want to call it a suite, which I guess it is, but there is the Brilliance stamp set, which now I'm so excited about it. I don't have it here to show you, but it's this, and they're the silhouettes, the outlined butterflies. And the cool part about this stamp set is, look, and I have it mounted on my Stamparatus. It is one gigantic stamp. So let me demonstrate this for you. I'm just going to grab a extra stamp pad here to put underneath. And then I'll just take my basic gray ink pad, and I'm going to ink this up. And if you haven't used the Stamparatus, it's pretty amazing. So with this big of a stamp, of course, you're going to want to have a Stamparatus, and I can help you get one of those. All right, so now do you see what happened? See how it didn't ink there? And I was afraid that that might happen. So again, with the size of the stamp and with a Stamparatus, I just simply re-ink, tip it back down, give it a good press and a good rub, and look at those butterflies. And they're stamped perfectly, the right amount of ink coverage. Again, the Stamparatus, and that being one really big stamp. Now, that's not all. Let me show you this. So, I'm gonna bring in one of the dies. Look at one gigantic die that fits. Oops, it's loving my Stamparatus magnet, so let me take that out of here. Let's put this down, and look at it, fits perfectly. And so in one pass through your Stamp and Cut and Emboss. Now you will need the standard size cut and emboss for this because of the width, of course, but you cut out 6 butterflies at one time. Pretty amazing, huh? I love it. All right, then you can see that I have all of the paper samples. So this is front and back, front and back, front and back, and this is 6 by 6 inch sheets. And you get a pack of 48 sheets of 6 by 6, and there are 12 designs, double-sided. So you will get 8 sheets of each of these prints, all right? And this one down here at the bottom with the big butterflies, let me show you that full size. Plus, you guys, I don't know if you know about my paper samples, but these are all the coordinating colors for this pack of papers. So lots of coordination going on there. Oh, and this is called, I didn't know how to pronounce it when it came. It's Butterfly Bijou. And I guess bijous are really popular in the southern United States as being theaters, I guess. And when I looked it up, it's actually a British word that means elegant. So I think they got that right, because this paper is truly, truly elegant. All right, let me bring in that sheet I was telling you about. So here's the piece with the big butterflies. And here's that gigantic die again. And look what happens. You can cut out 6 butterflies and they're all colored for you. Look at all these butterflies, you guys. It's just like, it's happy. It makes me think of spring. And it is definitely not spring in Minnesota. They're saying tomorrow, and we're all excited that tomorrow is going to be 10 degrees, and we can hardly wait because we've been sub-zero for about 2 weeks now. But look at all these butterflies. Crazy, right? You think when you see a butterfly set, it's like, really? More butterflies? But this one's hands down a really good butterfly set, and this paper is amazing. So there's that, and that's not all. Check this out. These are the Brilliant Wing dies, and I showed you the really big one, but look at these. It cuts out like little bricks, and it also embosses the lines. And I'm going to demonstrate a card here in just a minute that uses this. It just punches like a whole series of holes in your paper as a decoration. When you cut these out, these are all filigreed butterflies, and again, there's 7 different butterflies to choose from. I'm sorry, 6 different butterflies, and then there's the solid little butterflies too. So it's a great set. So I hope you'll order it up tomorrow. It's gonna be a good one. All right, let me show you what I have in store for us for a project today. So of course I'm going to be using the Butterfly Bouquet. I am going to bring in my card. Here it is. Remember how I told you I did all of the holes? And I've got the butterfly, and then this fun sentiment that comes from the Garden Wishes set. And then on the inside of my card, I just wanted a thank you. And this scripted thank you comes from the sweet ice cream set out of the JJ Mini. So check that out. Okay, so let's start with our project. I just have a standard card base here. So standard card base meaning 5.5 by 8.5 scored at 4 1/4. Okay, bring in the bone folder and give that a really good crease. I have a piece of basic gray cardstock that measures 4 by 5 1/4. I have a medium basic white envelope. I have the large, I think they call these swallowtail butterflies, and that's the large one that we die cut from the big sheet of paper. I have a scrap of So Saffron, and I'm using the long stitched rectangle out of the Ornate Layers dies. So I'll just keep that one handy. And then, like I said too, with the big die for this collection, you'll need a full size or standard size stamp, cut, and emboss machine. The mini is only a 3-inch opening or platform, so you'll need the standard size. Okay, you'll need a piece of Designer Series paper, and I cut this so that it measured 3 3/4 by 5. And then I just, on my trimmer, let me bring in my trimmer and show you how this works, because it's really it's really simple, and yet if you've not seen it demonstrated or you've not tried it, it can be one of those things where it's like, how did we get that cut so nice like that? So what I'm going to do is bring in a piece of, like I said, the 3 3/4 by 5, and I'm going to bring in my trimmer. And what I do is, you know how you have this cutting groove right here? So I put the very tip of the paper at the top on the groove, and then I just slide the bottom corner to the cutting trough, and then dark gray being our cutting blade, and I can just cut up from the center, and then you get these 2 perfect triangles. All right, so back to our card. Is what I did, and here's the sample. So I took my Designer Series paper, and I'm going to do this one just a little bit different because of, you know, how this was my rectangle. So on this one, I'm going to take my Stamp and Seal, and I'm just going to give that a little run on here. And I'm going to put that right on the basic gray, okay? And all you have to do is just try to keep this border and this border equal. And to be totally honest, it can go, I mean, it can go either way. Some of the butterflies are going up, so I guess just for the sake of creating another exact sample, we'll do this. What I need to do now is bring in my Big Shot. Oh, called it a Big Shot. My Stampin' Cut and Emboss. It's the boss. All right. I'm just going to set this in here like this. And remember I told you I had that there were those 3 dies in here. The one that looks like bricks. Then there's just like these scored lines or hash marks. And then I'm going to be using these bubbles. So what I did is I just kind of laid it in there like that. And I'm going to run this through. This is going to take just a little bit because we cut 6 sets of, you have to roll it through 6 times. But I want you to have the idea of how this works. So do you see the holes? And I just moved it up a little bit and kind of fit it in there right along my diagonal line, but not cutting into my Designer Series paper. And I'm just going to roll this through. You guys, it's kind of funny. I'm glad my face isn't on here, because whenever I run stuff through my Big Shot, I always find myself like, I don't know, you know how people stick their tongue out when they cut paper? Well, that's what I do when I crank this through on my die cutting machine here. One more along the diagonal. I'm just going to turn the die a little bit so that I don't have, you know, just an exact pattern. And if you don't have this new stamp and cut and emboss machine, it is definitely worth the investment in that it cuts much easier. And I don't know if it's a fact or not, but I feel like the gear ratio is higher. It doesn't take nearly as many turns on that handle to get it to go through. So then is what I did is just one final one here so I can get a little bit of those, I'm calling them bubbles. I don't know what they are to be exact, but it gives the coolest look on your card. Okay, so one more thing that I want to do while I have this here is I'm just going to cut out that stitched rectangle from the Ornate Layers dies, and that's going to be for our sentiment here in just a bit. So I'll cut that out, and that's just a scrap piece of So Saffron, one of the coordinating colors that I'm using. All right. So here's our die cut piece. All right, time to create the card. All right, so you can see on here, I've got a few little pieces, and that's really because I didn't clean my die out between each pass with the die cutting machine, but that's all right. They come out super easy and it cuts really nice. So I would love, love, love your feedback on these butterflies. Like I said, I would be, I want to always be very, very truthful with you. And when I saw that it was more butterflies, it was just like, no more butterflies. And then I got the collection in the mail, and it was like, oh, these are beautiful, beautiful, beautiful butterflies, and I'm glad we've got them. So, all right, I'm gonna bring in that sentiment, like I told you, from the Garden Wishes, and I love when there's just the print and then the scripted sentiments. So again, basic gray, and I'm just going to ink up my stamp, and I'm going to center that a little to the left because I want to be able to add some of the twine, baker's twine. All right, so there's our sentiment, and let's take our stamp and seal, and we're just going to put this onto our card base, just like that. Guys, isn't this pretty? I just love it. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the white twine, and this was from the Snail Mail Suite. I'm going to wrap it around a few times. You can tie it in a knot, or you can tie it in a bow. And I know bows are a challenge, especially when you're on video. Just kidding. Bows can be a real challenge for some people. So a knot works too. It does not have to be a bow. I just happen to I just happen to like bows. So there's that. Trim up our tails. I had one of my stamping, well, she's a friend and a stamping friend, of course, ask about the scissors. She's like, sometimes when I cut, I get like a frayed end on my ribbons or on my braids trim. And it's like, get another snips, and you have to have a ribbon scissor or ribbon snips and a paper snips. All right, let's get our standard size dimensionals. Those are minis. Here we go. And I'm going to put one here on the end just to keep my baker's twine in place. And I'm going to put 4 of them because I don't want this sentiment to sag. And I'm just going to put that right across the bottom. I want a little bit of the gray showing on each end, okay? So there's our sentiment. And now let's find our butterfly here. And this was just one of them that we cut out of the Designer Series paper. And as you can see, it is all colored and shaded and beautiful. And is all we have to do is add a couple dimensions.